Centripetal force, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through the learning goals and explanation, there's a diagram and few examples. All right, let's start up with uniform circular motion, and that is the centripetal force that is being created by that motion. So these are the 5 points that you're going to learn in this lesson. We want to know what centripetal force is. We're going to talk about that, identify the direction of centripetal acceleration. We're going to use this formula, the centripetal acceleration, v squared over r. You don't need to know about the derivation of that, but if you have done a lab, you've probably done the lab work to actually come up with this formula, which is basically acceleration is inversely related to the radius and directly related to v squared, and then use the Newton's second law to find centripetal force, and the fact that centripetal force is not a new force. It's providing by an existing force. So all of these forces that you see here, tension, friction, gravity, normal force, these are all part of creating the centripetal force. In most cases, tension and friction are the two. All right. Yes, it could be at one point gravity and normal force as well. All right. Let's look at what is centripetal force. Well, this is the important thing that you have to remember. When an object moves in a circle at constant speed, its direction changes. So this is the very important part. And that change of direction, that means what? That means acceleration. You're going to create an acceleration. And even if a speed is constant, the acceleration is called the centripetal acceleration, which is right here. Okay, v squared over all. V is the speed or the velocity, and r is the radius, because it is the circular motion that an object is moving, the path that is circular. And it always points towards the center of the circle. That's another part that you have to remember. And based on the Newton's second law, remember F equal to ma. Now we're looking at the centripetal force. That means centripetal acceleration. And then we just simply substitute v squared over r in place of ac. And then you have this new equation, which is Fc centripetal force is equal to m times v squared over r. Okay. All right. Now, one more thing. Centripetal force is not a new force. It is the name for the net force pointing towards the center, always pointing towards center. All right. And these are the examples: a car turning, that's friction forces, that's Fc, a ball on a string that you're swinging around, that's a tension, provides the Fc to the center again. And then in the grand scheme of things, the satellite orbiting, that's gravity pulling it, and that is provides the centripetal force. So in these cases, 3 different scenarios for the centripetal force, but there are different types of force: friction, tension, and gravity. But they are all centripetal force. All right, free body diagram. This is the diagram that I created, and I like this diagram because it's fully infographic, where you have all the information, including the diagram of the net force, centripetal force, and mg, and of course the velocity on the circular path of the object. And every the information is right here. I'm going to put a link to this diagram in the description below. Make sure you, if you want to, you can download it and have it as your reference. All right. And example 1, basic centripetal force calculations. We're just going to use this formula right here. And the first thing we need to write, we need to write down what we do know. We got the mass, 1.2 kg. For the ball, we have the radius of the circular path, 0.80 meters. We have the velocity, 3.0 meters per second. The question is, what is the centripetal force? And we're going to plug in the numbers right here into this formula and get the values. So the centripetal force is equal to the direct substitution, 1.2 kg times 3.0 meters per second squared. It has to be squared, all over 0.80. When you do the math, you will get 13.5 Newton. Okay, so simple as that. We didn't draw the free body diagram because there's no need for it in this case, but if you wanted to, you had to go back and then draw the circle, a circular path with the object, and then understanding that FC towards the center. Okay. Here's example 2. Tension provides centripetal force. This time tension does. So you have a 0.5 kg ball is swung in a horizontal circle on a string of length 1.5 meters at a speed 4.0 meters per second. What is the tension in the string? And this is the part that you have to be aware that the tension is that centripetal force. That tension is a force as well, right? So let's write out what we do know. We have, okay, and again, we're going to use the same formula and then we're going to plug numbers in. So the only inward force coming in is the tension, which is the centripetal force. And so here's the values being plugged in, and then once you do that, you get the tension or the centripetal force inward motion is 5.33 Newton. Okay, and it is inward motion. Very good. Let's look at the next question. This example is friction provides the centripetal force and it's caught on a curve and is a direct application of our real world scenario. Okay, without this, so here it is, 1200 kg car travels around a flat curve of a radius 45 meters. The maximum static friction force is 6,000 Newton. What is the maximum safe speed? This is a brilliant question. Let's write out what we do know. Now let's talk about this friction force, the static friction force. That actually provides the centripetal force. Without that, this car will get flown off the main road. It will not be able to stay within that circular path because of the speed, right? Now, what is the safest speed? We need to have that safest speed because too much speed, you're going to get off. You can't turn, right? But remember that this static friction is the key, and that is so Fs is your centripetal force, which is again, the static force of friction is the centripetal force. We need to rewrite this equation in terms of v because we're solving for the velocity, the maximum velocity based on the information we have. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. So v squared, so the first thing we got to do, we're going to multiply both sides by r. So fc times r equals to mv squared. All right, we are isolating v squared, divide both sides by m, so we get v squared equals to the centripetal force times the radius divided by m. And now the last step is we have to take the square root of both sides, and when we do that, we get v is equal to square root of centripetal force times the radius divided by m, and all of this is part of the square root is the radicand of the expression. Okay, so that is the formula for the velocity. So we're going to plug numbers in and find the answer. So here it is when you plug in all the values and you get v is equal to a square root of 225. I'm going to remove the units right now, and then when you take the square root of 225, it is 15. And based on the units, we get meters per second. Okay, so this is the safest velocity that this car can travel around the flat curve of a radius 45 with the maximum static friction of 6,000 Newton, so that it doesn't fly off the road and it goes. All right, so common mistakes to avoid. Make sure that you avoid these, okay? Thinking centripetal force is a new force, it is not, right? It could be the gravity, it could be the tension, it could be the force of friction. Forgetting that FC points towards the center always, centripetal force towards center, and using the acceleration, the centripetal acceleration incorrectly, v squared over all, and make sure you know how to manipulate this equation for acceleration or for the centripetal force for any of the variables that you need to solve. Mixing up radius and diameter, be careful with that. If your diameter is given to you, you have to divide it by 2. And then using friction incorrectly, kinetic versus static. Of course, this one that we just talked about, it was given as static friction, which is that's what you need, but be aware of that. And then forgetting to take the square root when solving for velocity. And one last thing is that the example 3 is a very, very common exam question. Super common. All right. And sometimes they ask for the maximum safe velocity. Sometimes they ask for the radius. The maximum, finding them for the maximum safe velocity or speed is a very common one because it is more difficult to do in comparison to other variables in the formula for the centripetal force. All right. Don't forget to check out the mini quiz in the description or pinned comment below and come back for more videos in this series. Okay, until next time.